My question is for the Minister for Early Childhood and relates to kindergarten. Back in June, with some fanfare, the Minister announced free 3- and 4-year-old kinder for Victorian families. But I'd have to say even a cursory look at the detail suggests that kindergarten will not be free or even low fee for most families, who will receive a $2,500 subsidy for sessional kinder or a $2,000 fee reduction for funded kindergarten in long daycare settings. So my question is, can the Minister please tell me how many families will actually receive free kindergarten?
Thank you, President. I'm very, very happy to take that question, Ms Patten, and thank you for your interest in early childhood education. And of course, you would be aware that kindergarten programs are delivered in a range of different provider settings. So in the long daycare centres, which is predominantly the responsibility of the federal government and the subject of childcare subsidy arrangements, you'll recall that in 2021 the government provided free kinder that year as part of our COVID recovery response, and we were able to reach agreement with the previous federal government to ensure that the free kinder component of long daycare, because of course kinder programs are embedded in long daycare services, that the full benefit of that free program was passed on to parents. And we are again in discussions with the new federal government about a similar arrangement this time when we introduce free kinder next year. For our sessional kinders, we have made a couple of different commitments. Free kinder for 3- and 4-year-old kindergarten next year. And of course, you'd be aware that we are in the process of scaling up the hours that are funded for 3-year-olds across the state. And that will mean that there will be different arrangements depending on what location you're in because of the staged way in which we've been rolling out 3-year-old. So in some regional parts of Victoria, they're already up to 15 hours already of 3-year-old, and in some metropolitan areas we are still in the process of building up towards 15 by 2029. So the commitment that the government has made in respect to free kinder is that all the funded hours will be free for parents, and that includes 4-year-old kindergarten as well, which is currently at 15 hours, and over the next few years from 2025 to 2032 will essentially build up to 30 hours for every 4-year-old and the creation of that pre-prep year. So we are in the process of a detailed consultation with the sector about the policy settings for free kinder next year. They've been pretty constructive discussions with the sector, and I know the sector are very keen on the detail of this because its enrolment season for next year is almost upon us, and we'll be in a position to be announcing those policy settings in the not too distant future.
Thanks, Minister. And I think probably the headline should have been subsidised kinder, maybe not free kinder. However, by way of supplementary, and I thank you for your response because it really was it was good, and I did it provided some good information. But bearing in mind, as you said, that early education in Victoria takes place very often in long day care. And that unmet demand has been incredibly hard for some families, to even find a place in long day care at the moment, let alone a choice of provider. Can the Minister guarantee that full $2,000 reduction will be passed on to families by long day care kindergarten services?
Minister. Thank you, President. Well, what I can say, Ms Patten, is that that was definitely the arrangement that we arrived at in 2021 through our free kinder program, and making sure that regardless of what setting parents choose to have their children receive kindergarten programs in, that they get the benefit of the government's policy intent. Now, we're in positive discussions with the Commonwealth, but we haven't quite landed all the details yet, but I've got no reason to believe that we won't be able to land those arrangements. And in 2021, for example, it was absolutely the case that it was a requirement of the funding arrangement that was arrived at, that the full $2,000 was passed on to families. So I've got no reason to believe that we won't be able to arrive at a similar arrangement, because we've been very clear about our $9 billion commitment to early childhood education and care and the importance of the early years in Victoria.